pledge to the flag. Heavenly Father, we do thank you for this day that you've given us, Lord, the many blessings in life that we have because of your goodness and your grace. Father, we just ask you to lead us and guide us during this meeting, Father, that the business that we attend to here in this community, that we would make the decisions and do the things that are right and pleasing in your sight, Father. Just give us wisdom and guidance. And Lord, we thank you most of all for salvation through your Son, Jesus Christ. And we ask all this in his holy name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First order of business this morning, we have a guest with us today, Mr. Mike Kochasik. Did I say that correctly?
You did, very good.
You're not going to ask me to spell it again, are you?
No.
All right. He's with the National Weather Service, and he's here to share some stuff with us, and it looks like he's brought a sign or two.
I've come bearing gifts here. So, good morning, Judge and Magistrates in Simpson County. I'm Mike Kochasik from the National Weather Service, and I'm here to recognize you all as storm ready. So congratulations, you've gone through the process to be certified as storm ready. That takes a little bit of doing here. I'll describe it here in a second. So it's a process where the National Weather Service certifies your storm plans through county emergency management on your ways to receive warnings, but also your ways to push it back out to county residents and emergency personnel and the like. So keeping people safe, and you've gone through that process to do that. County EMA also goes through the process to ensure proper coordination with the National Weather Service. So whenever there's storm damage or tornadoes, and I know through the history of Simpson County, you're no stranger to that. When something happens, County EMA reaches out to us to make sure that we know that damage happened and we're able to properly rate it and make sure that FEMA dollars come your way, with the proper ratings and that kind of thing. And then lastly, County EMA goes through the process to ensure that they have community preparedness plans in place so that we continue the educational process going and that folks are ready for severe weather. So to date, approximately 100 counties in the Commonwealth have gone through storm ready certification. So not every county is able or willing to meet it, but you're joining the ranks of those that take it serious and are willing to do so. So congratulations on that. Bob and Nikki and your team have always been great to work with, and I know every county thinks they have a good EM, but you truly do have a good EM here, and we're super proud of our relationship and partnership and hope that continues going forward in the future. So we can't make any county or community storm proof. If I could, I would, but I can't. But we can make people storm ready and ready for the next one whenever it does undoubtedly occur. So congratulations again. I have a certificate here for you all. This process is good for 4 years, and at that point we'll reach back out to recertify. Once you go through the process to get it, it's real easy to recertify and keep it. So you have to not want it to get rid of it. So there's that. And then you get one free sign from the National Weather Service here. It's a road sign here that you're storm ready. If you want more of these, you can purchase more through our vendor. They're about $50 a piece, depending on sheet metal prices at the time. But you're also welcome, if it's cheaper for your county road sign department to make these. We have the plans. We can give them to you, and you can make copies and put them anywhere you want. Some counties choose to hang these in their government buildings or designate storm shelters with them, or even on the side of roads. It just depends on what you want to do. Or you can stick your freebie and run. That's okay too. But I don't know if you want a picture.
Yeah, I would like to get Bob up here and maybe get a couple of pictures, you presenting him with the certificate and then with the sign.
So where's a good photo drone here?
Well, there's not a good one because of this light coming through the fluid, but probably out in front of the microphone here. All right, let's get that sign in there.
All right.
All right, I took a couple, hopefully one's good.
Okay. Congratulations, Judge.
Thank you.
Beverly was
Mason.
Hey, Mason. Beverly was taking a picture.
Oh, I'm sorry. Y'all, did you get a picture, Beverly?
I did, sir.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just making sure she got one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. And Bob, thank you for what you do to help get us prepared and keep us updated. That's like Mike said with the national weather, there's no such thing as storm proof. You're not going to keep it from happening, but you can be as prepared and ready as you can be. And we are very fortunate to have Bob and his group that work on this. Thank you, Bob. All right, gentlemen, next is to review and approve the meeting minutes from our July 21st meeting. I need a motion and a second to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Got a motion by Scott, second by Jeffrey. Are there any corrections, additions, comments? All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Next would be second reading of ordinance number 310.33. This is the revised Windsor Park lighting agreement for Section 3, Phase 1. We held the first reading at our meeting on July 21st. Got a motion by Scott and a second by Myron. Any question or discussion? Stacy, we'll need to do a roll call on the ordinance, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. The next item is second reading and final passage of ordinance number 310.34. It also is a revised Windsor Park lighting agreement. This one's for Section 3, Phase 2.
So moved.
Got a motion by Marty. Second by Jeffrey. Again, any question or discussion? Stacy, we'll do a roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Next item, gentlemen, is to review or approve first reading of ordinance number 530.65. This is the county road speed limit ordinance. This would place Leo Binion Road at 35 miles per hour, and then Carter Road, Charlie Butts Road, Coomer Road, and Broadway all at 45 miles an hour.
So moved.
Got a motion by Myron.
Second.
Second by Scott. Any question or discussion on that one?
Yeah, I just wondering if anybody's watching, when we talked about this at the last meeting, we talked about Hack Brown Road, but after doing some digging, we found out it's already a 45.
Okay.
And it just, for some reason or other, had not been on the list.
I-
So
that-
there will be signs put up out
Yeah,
there.
I noticed that when I was drafting, and we had done it like a couple of years ago, and in a previous ordinance, and I guess I should have mentioned, I talked to Marty about that, and so since it's already been set, there's no reason to put it in this one.
Very, very true, understandable. Any other question, discussion? Stacy will do a roll call on the ordinance.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. The next item, gentlemen, is to review or approve what we're referring to as an emergency reading of ordinance number 830.52. It's a solid waste collection ordinance. It's not an emergency because waste is going to quit being collected, but we need this ordinance to be in line with the contract that we just signed, and we can, by emergency order, have a reading that will not require a first and a second, and it will be finalized and passed upon reading and publication. And we just needed to get this ordinance in ASAP. So I need a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 830.52.
So moved.
Got a motion by Marty. Second by Jeffrey. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye.
I think you're going to need a roll call.
Oh, that's right, roll call. We're still on ordinances. Thank you, Counselor.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. The next item, gentlemen, is some employee resolutions, and these employee resolutions reflect what was approved in the fiscal year 26-27 budget. We just need to approve them by resolution so that these changes can go into effect. And I would assume, Counselor, there's like 6 of them. I would assume we need to take these individually.
Yes.
All right. So what we have is, the first one is resolution number 2026-08-04 EMP-FSFR1. This is an increase for firefighter salary Justin McMillan upon receiving certifications in Fire Instructor 1, IFSAC Aerial, Driver Promotion, and IFSAC Officer 1 certifications.
So moved.
Got a motion by Marty,
Second.
second by Jeffrey. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I guess I should say, for the public watching, that we have these certifications in different departments, and it's all lined out when they receive. It's no different than the road department and other departments. When they receive certifications, they're going to receive compensation for getting those training levels completed. Next would be resolution number 2026-08-04 EMP-FSFR2. This would reflect a pay change for Mason Miller on receiving his Fire Instructor 1, IFSAC Pumper certification, IFSAC MWS. Chief, MWS, help us out with the firefighter.
No, sorry, that was for the mobile water supply.
Okay. Okay, then is driver promotion and IFSAC aerial certifications. So I need a motion and a second to approve that one.
So moved.
Got a motion by Scott, second by Marty. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next is resolution number 2026-08-04 EMP-FSFR3. And this is for Kyle Hunton upon receiving his IFSAC Officer 1 certification. Need a motion and a second to approve that resolution.
So moved.
Motion by Marty.
Second.
Second by Jeffrey. Any question, discussion?
I would like to say for the people watching that each one of these are not getting the same amount of raise.
That's true. They're getting increments based on the actual certifications they achieved. Any other question? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next, gentlemen, will be resolution number 2026-08-04 EMP-FSFR4. This would be a pay change for J.D. Shanklin upon receiving Instructor 1 certification.
So moved.
Got a motion by Myron.
Second.
Second by Marty. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next is resolution number 2026-08-04 EMP-FSFR5. This would be for firefighter Evan Harden upon receiving his IFSAC Pumper certification, IFSAC MWS, and Swift Water Technician certifications.
So moved.
Got a motion by Marty? Second. Second by Scott. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. And finally, gentlemen, resolution number 2026-08-04 EMP-FSFR6. This would be a pay change for firefighter Rondell Gingrich upon receiving his Instructor 1 certification, IFSAC Aerial, and Driver Promotion certification.
So moved.
Got a motion by Jeffrey,
Second.
second by Myron. Any question or discussion? That motion carries. I will say that this is a little bit like what Bob's doing with emergency management on preparation, that these guys and you know, the Sheriff's Department does it, the jail does it, there's different certifications that these people go through these trainings. And I said, you know, the road department has the same thing, they go through trainings. You want your people that are taking care of the community to get all of the training and knowledge that they can to help provide a better service to the community. And we're appreciative that we have a lot of employees in all departments that do that very thing. All right, gentlemen, the next item of business is a request by Lyle Kim for land separation, and we have the city attorney with us here. If you have a question. Oh.
Just regular practicing today.
Oh, okay. We just have Amanda East, the attorney, with us today, in case there's a question. If y'all recall, there's industrial revenue bonds issued for the Lyle Kim project, and y'all may or may not remember this, but they bought a piece of property with a building on it to operate in. Then they bought an adjacent piece of property, and they got that lot line removed and combined that into one big lot. Then when you do the industrial revenue bonds, the whole thing gets deeded back to the county. But Lyle Kim is requesting to have that lot line added back in. Not that they want to do anything with it at the moment, but they just want it added back in for future whatever their future plans may be. We would still hold deed to that property, but as currently being technically the owners of the property, the only way that request could go forward is the county would have to make the application to add the lot line back in.
So there's no negative effect concerning the industrial revenue bond?
Well, there's no negative effect concerning the industrial revenue bond. We're still going to hold deed to both pieces of property, and no property could be sold. I mean, they can't sell property while we hold deed to it.
That lot?
Yeah, they would not
Okay.
be able to sell that lot as long as we hold deed to it.
And they're supposed to pay the bonds.
And they're paying the bonds. There's no negative impact to us. It's not going to cost us. We're not going to lose anything. We're still going to have ownership and oversight of what would happen with that piece of property.
They couldn't sell it to anybody else anyway with us having a deed to it.
Exactly. And I guess, and here's the question, I don't know, Marty, and what you're getting at, this would be a question for our counselor or their attorney. Let's say down the road, 5 years, I don't know, next year, let's say they do say, hey, we would really like to sell that lot. What would happen to we would have to agree that lot could be sold, because we would still be holding title deed to it.
Right,
and owning
we'd
that
be the
property.
ones deeding it.
And then
Theoretically.
if we agreed that it could sell, would we have the oversight on what would happen with the proceeds of the sale of that property?
I think we need to go back and look at the industrial board, what they have placed on these out there. If a business buys a lot, they have 3 years to build on it. Or they can buy it back, or have a certain amount of time where they can buy it back at 95% of the purchase price.
Yeah, I don't know, because this got joined together into one.
Yeah.
But I don't know what happens if it gets separated back into two.
I mean, I think, I don't believe that, those are tax dollars that we're using in an industrial board, from the occupational tax and things of that nature. I don't believe a business should be able to buy a lot and then profit off of it. They should be able to buy a lot and put their business on it, but an investor shouldn't be able to go out and buy 2 or 3 lots and then just hold the lot and not put anything on that lot and just sell the lot. I think if an investor wants to buy a lot, build a building on a spec building and do that, that's fine, but just buying the lot, we've had people try to do that in the past, and I think if an investor wants to buy a lot, build a building, a spec building, and recruit an industry into that building, that's fine. But I don't think we should be when you've used tax dollars, occupational tax dollars, and grants and things to buy all that land out there. I just don't think we should let an investor buy the land and just try to flip the land, without trying to make an improvement to that land and trying to get some business or an industry on that land. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Do-
for what it's worth,
Do you mind to come to the
the mic.
microphone you can explain more what Lyle Kim's really wanting to do?
Public won't hear you unless you're with the mic.
no, you're fine, you're fine. Thank you, gentlemen, for hearing us today. I appreciate it. The point was just to try and do the lot line removal. I do know that there have been conversations with the industrial authority and that they've indicated that they are supportive of this particular lot line removal. And so moving forward into the future, and I appreciate trying to take the future into consideration, I think that would be those ongoing conversations that would have to happen with the industrial authority, with the members of the fiscal court, and with LIOCHEM about the future of that. With regards to the lot line itself, what they're actually moving it slightly different from what it previously was. There is a private roadway that they have put in there, and so they're wanting to change that lot line so that it encompasses that private roadway on the property that they currently have their facility on. But there have been those conversations with the industrial authority, as per John Easley, who is the main representative for LIOCHEM. And so everybody has tried to include the necessary bodies in that conversation.
I don't necessarily have a problem with the lot line, putting the lot line back in. But I just, we constantly have industries looking at our area. And if we just don't need to have empty lots sitting there. If we've got, if somebody buys that, I know one time we had a business that was going to bring in, and it was going to be close to kind of where Hunt Ford just built their new commercial deal. And they were going to put a business in there, and then when it got down right down to the end, they said, well, we just decided we wanted to buy that and then hold it for a few years and see if we could make money on the lot. And the industrial board said, no, we're not in that business to do that. So I just, if they're gonna have that, then in a certain amount of time, there should be some kind of building put on that and some kind of industry put on that.
And I think that's part of those ongoing
Okay.
conversations with the industrial authority and with the fiscal court. Like I said, what's been presented to us is just that lot line piece, and the industrial authority has indicated that they are supportive of that. And so to the extent that that concern is out there, I think that that's just part of that ongoing conversation.
All right.
When you say the industrial authority is good with that, where's
So-
that information coming
So
from? 'Cause-
Mr. Easley reached out to, pardon, my brain just went blank. I reached out to Mr. DeCesare
Okay.
about this. And
The only reason I ask that is I know this conversation has not come up in an industrial authority board meeting.
So
Yeah.
Mr. Easley reached out to Mr. DeCesare about this, and he's indicated that that is just fine for them to do that lot line.
Yeah, I can tell you, no one on the industrial board has voted on this,
Okay.
because I'm on the industrial board. And it has not been discussed at the industrial board.
I guess from our perspective on the county side, since we had the deed to the property, there's no downside to us in a financial situation. I mean, there's no cost to us in it. And then as far as what may or may not happen with the lot in the future, as long as the deed is in our name, we're going to be the ones to have the say on what we would do or not do.
And I think that gets to Mr. Chandler's point about who else at the table having those conversations. But to your point, we're just going from
Because-
one lot to two lots, which is what it was before.
I just want to make sure that I am thinking correctly. There's two attorneys in the room. If you try to sell a piece of property that you don't hold a deed to, and you get money for property and you don't hold the deed to it and can't transfer it, that's a criminal act, is it not?
You'd have to take some steps to acquire ownership, so sometimes people will put things contingent upon, I will buy this if you are able to successfully buy that. But again, that requires everybody getting in the room and having that conversation.
So
Main concern is the bonds are payable by LIOCHEM, not by the county, and that's the main concern, as I don't want.
Well, yeah, that's the main financial concern, but on the other side, the other concern that Marty brings up is that we, as the deed holders to that lot, would have say on whether it would sell and what could be done with that piece of property.
Yes.
But if what he said, like if you have a lot, you can only keep that lot for a certain amount of years, then you got to do something. So we're making another lot, right?
Well,
I'm just curious how
that's
that
for
works.
individuals, that wouldn't pertain to if the
I think-
industrial board actually owned that lot.
Yeah.
Well, I think this obviously needs to be a topic on, respectfully, your industrial authority agenda coming up next, maybe invite the folks from LIOCHEM to say, what are your plans on this other than dividing it up.
Is that your official advice to us as a court, not to take action until we have?
I'm not saying don't take action. I do think, I'm hearing lots of talk about, well, these are discussions between the county and the industrial authority and LIOCAM, and my position is, I did not realize that this had not been brought before the industrial board, just to basically, I guess, the recruiter. And while he's their agent, he doesn't necessarily speak for the board. So I think it needs to be on the agenda for the industrial authority, what LIOCAM's, what, at least currently, what their plans are regarding this. But I mean, because they're the ones that kind of brought this to us, so.
And the county would have to be one petition, Franklin Planning and Zoning to get this lot. Would it be, is lot line under Planning and Zoning or Board of Adjustments?
That's Board of Adjustments.
Well, that's what I was thinking, Board of Adjustments. So we would have to petition
Goes
Board of
before Planning and
Adjustments to
Zoning.
get that done.
It goes before the planning and zoning, and I actually have the application
Oh, it does?
prepared, because our.
Yeah, a copy of the application's on your portal there.
Right. I seen all that, but.
Yeah. And I apologize for getting to this in front of you late. Our deadline to submit in order to appear on the September calendar is today. And so that's why Mr. Easley was reaching out and making the contacts that he was. I think he's had a couple of conversations with the county judge exec about this. And so that's why we're here today, is because we do have that deadline in front of us. And again, simply we're moving it from one lot to two lots. And so to the extent, and I understand council's concern about future conversations, right now we don't even know what those future conversations are. And so I guess what my observation would be is, could we go ahead and get the application submitted so that way we have our September hearing date reserved, so that if the county feels like, well, we still would like to have a little bit more guidance and understanding, that gives Mr. Easley the opportunity to do that.
We could do, Counselor, we could do this, if this is amenable. We have an industrial board meeting next Wednesday at noon. We could have that discussion there, get a take from them, come back and address this at our August 18th meeting. Y'all could get on that agenda if
We would not be able to get on an agenda at that point until October, just because of the nature of the way that Planning and Zoning Commission meets.
Well, I think what you can do is get on the agenda, and if there's a problem that comes up at the 18th, it can always been, bumped.
And I think that may be the correct way to do it, is let's go ahead and get our application
But I'm
submitted
just-
today to
I'm-
preserve the time. And then on the 18th, if there are further things that need to be spelled out, we have our September date secured. But if we need to reach out and say, well, actually, we need to extend that date, then we know going in that we've at least, done our due diligence.
Because we have this ability to do this. This has happened a number of times, not with government entities, but even with individuals who submit an application for something, and then at a later, a week or so later, they say, well, we need to pull that because we're not ready to do something. We could submit the application, we could have the meeting at the industrial board next week. The week after that, we're meeting again. If a problem arises, we, as the owners of the property and basically the applicant, can say, we need to pull that, we're not ready to do this.
I guess my question is, if it's not going to change the financials, the bond or any of that, if they have no plans for it, if it's really not going to change anything, then
What's the
really, what
downside?
difference would it matter if it was in September or October?
So it's more so just trying to get things taken care of and resolved, and they were wanting to get it resolved sooner rather than later.
Okay, but if it were a month later, it's really not going to hurt anything.
So I haven't been advised one way or another. What I've been advised is that we wanted to be on the September calendar, so that's what I'm trying to preserve today.
Well, let's do that temporary. I mean, get on the agenda and then we can discuss it and table this to the next meeting and bring it back up.
Well, I think we've got to approve it.
Okay.
I think we'll have to approve it.
Contingent?
Yes, and then we'll have the industrial board meeting, and then if we need to readdress it on the 18th and possibly pull the application, we can.
Okay.
And I'll advise Mr. Easley of what your all's concerns are. So if there are conversations that he needs to have, then he can have those conversations. And then, yeah, we'll stay abreast of what happens at the Industrial Authority meeting. And if for some reason we need to come back on the 18th, we can do that. And I may ask that he be here so that he can speak better. Maybe that address some concerns that you have, Mr. Chandler.
Well, I will ask next week at the industrial board meeting.
Yeah,
That's fine.
yeah. Does that sound like the way to proceed, Sam?
I think, I don't have a problem with that proposal. It's basically, if we can, something, God forbid, comes up after the meeting next week with the Industrial Authority, we come back on the 18th and we can do something different at that point, if needs be.
Right.
I'm not trying to create problems with them. There may very well not be. It's just, there have been times past, this is not directed at Lyochem, but other businesses started backfilling, so to speak, once we started doing things. And so, as Bill Harris once told me, the burn baby fears fire. So, but I'm careful whenever I start seeing things wanting to change, particularly relatively quickly after something's happened. Makes me.
Yeah.
It may be nothing.
Pause for concern.
Pause. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
All right.
So we need a motion to.
We just need a motion to approve this, and then we will obviously readdress this on the 18th if like Counselor said, if needs be, after the industrial board meeting next week.
So moved.
Got a motion by Myron.
Second.
Was that you, Marty?
Yes.
All right. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. Thank you, Ms.
gentlemen.
East.
Thank you for coming, Amanda. Sorry for the aggravation.
You're fine. Judge Executive, it's okay. I'll stop by later this morning to pick up that signed application.
Perfect.
So we can submit it. So
Perfect.
Thank you all.
All right, no problem. Next item, gentlemen, is a board appointment to the Industrial Authority. This would be to appoint Rick Dinkins to the unexpired term of Gary Brody, which would be expiring on, you can tell that I typed this because my fingers get wide, and instead of the 1, I hit a 2. I understand there is not a 32nd day in July. It should be 31.
July 32nd.
Yeah, no, so we might need an extra day here and there, but we don't have it. But anyway, the term would be set to expire on July 31st of 2027.
So moved.
Got a motion by Marty. Second. Who was that? Scott. Second by Scott. Any other question or discussion other than my lack of typing abilities and the ability to proofread? All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Next, gentlemen, we have a resolution sent to us by the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. Have y'all been able to pull up could y'all pull this up on your iPads enough to see what we're talking about and doing? And could y'all see that map on it? Yeah. It'll be up in the folders under KYTC. And there's Highway 100 project map would be the one you need to look at. But basically what the Transportation Cabinet is asking the Fiscal Court to approve this resolution, if you're looking at the yellow on the map, that is the current traffic of Highway 100 East going out of Franklin into Scottsville. The red on the map is where they want to reroute this and build a new bridge over the creek there. And you look back where Reeder School Road comes down into 100 currently. From that point to like the last house on 100 in Simpson County, which is approximately 800 feet, what the Transportation Cabinet is asking us to do is to approve a resolution stating that we will assume the responsibility of that 800 feet as a county road once they get this new project completed. Because they're gonna completely take out what's in the yellow. If you see where the red comes in and loops down, I guess that would be to the south, from the one little red spur on the west end and the one little red spur on the east end, this whole, I don't know how I don't know what their plan is. All they're asking us to take is the little section from Reader School Road to the last few residents on 100 going east.
So that would become a county road.
That little 800-foot section would become a county road.
Which it makes absolutely no sense at all.
I don't disagree.
Because Reader School Road is a state highway.
Yeah.
They're asking us to take 800 feet, and you got 100 all the way from Hickory Flat, all the way to Reader School Road is a state road. Reader School Road is a state road, and they're gonna have to take the county equipment all the way out there to do 800 feet.
I'm not saying that we should sign the resolution. They just asked us
I'll tell
to.
you, I'm not in favor of doing this, because
Where's the logic?
Yep. And if y'all say to me, we refuse to sign the resolution, I'll let Mr. Plunk know that they're welcome to do their state highway plan project, and if they're gonna continue to maintain the old part of 100.
because when they first presented this years ago, they were gonna stay on the old 100. They presented that as an option. And the people in Franklin didn't care which way they went. The people in Scottsville didn't care which way they went. The people that lived in that area wanted it to stay on the old 100. They give them the option. And then they came back about 6 months later and said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to split all those farms out through there and we're going to put in a new bridge. Because it would be easier to do that because we don't have to deal with traffic on 100.
Yeah.
So now they're going to put in a new, and I'm glad there's going to be a new road. It needs to be a road, that road needs to be widened and it needs to be done in that area so it can go on into Scottsville. But I'm going to vote no on accepting 800 foot when you've got over a mile of 100 that's state road and you've got Reader School Road that's a state road, and they're wanting us to take our equipment all the way out there to do 800 feet.
Maybe they can figure out how they're gonna maintain that 800 feet.
They're going to be right there. They can
Because
maintain it.
specifically, this resolution says the old Kentucky 100 identified as West Connector Road on the plans associated with item number, and they give the item number there, beginning at the old intersection of Kentucky 100 and 2601, which is Reader School Road, to its end, a total distance of approximately 800 feet. I mean,
I can't imagine it's going to stop this project if we say we're not going to accept that 800 foot.
yeah.
Okay.
And the question I have, and honestly, I'm just being honest, I haven't talked to any of these landowners. I don't know how much involvement the state's had in talking with them. I wouldn't necessarily like my farm being split with a new section of 100.
Well, I can tell you some of the conversations I had, but we'd have to do it off camera because the language is not very good. They're not happy.
So
I'm
what
with you on
saying
that,
is do
Marty.
with
I
the
will
old
support
part
that.
of 100?
Huh?
I won't
They're gonna
support
take
that.
Out.
I'm just not going to, I mean, if it was county road right up to it or something, but
Okay.
to ask us to drive that far with our equipment to do 800, what do you think,
We're
Bobby?
taking the,
They're taking
Yeah.
this. They want us to take this.
so it's just the old road, they're wanting us to take the last
From
800,
Reader School Road down to that last residence.
but not there.
But not there and not here. And I don't even understand, like, you're gonna come off of 100 here.
Yeah,
And then you're gonna have a spur to come back onto the old 100
Because there
and
are
down to
people who
Reader
live,
School, down to
'cause-
Reader School Road.
because there are people who live there.
And then you're gonna have that little 800-foot section from Reader School Road to that last house. And then they're taking out the road from that last house to the bridge.
That's what part they're taking out.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you need to have the chief district engineer come explain the logic behind that.
I'm good with that.
Well, I'm
Maybe
just
we could
saying.
Maybe
I'm
Joe
just-
can put a roundabout in
Before you
there,
approve
turn
it,
around.
maybe you need to have him come explain why.
Yeah.
But two roundabouts, one up there
And
at the
maybe
beginning and
there's
one
a
up there
reason.
in Nevada
It's
County.
not readily, it's observable is my point.
And here's something, I'm just say this, because I don't know how many people are watching us now. I joke a lot and say the millions and millions that are watching us. But there are people that do watch it. There's people that will view this later. Understand that there are times we do get asked what our thoughts are about a state highway project, but when the state gets ready to do something, they do what they want to do regardless of what we tell them.
And they may say, no, you're going to take this.
Yeah, there's no way that we're going to be able to say to the state, well, you can't do this road project. But we don't have to sign the resolution. And I'm perfectly fine. I think we need to make a motion one way or the other, either to sign it or to decline to sign it. If we decline to sign it, then it's incumbent upon me to reach out to the state district engineer, the chief engineer, and say, we decline to sign it. You're welcome to come and explain to the court what's going on, and we can share our issues.
Well, third option, and I'm probably throwing my 2 cents in. Technically speaking, this is a political issue, not a legal one, but I'm the one who told you, I think the chief needs, because I'm looking, and I had you explain that to me just now, and I don't see the logic behind their request.
I don't either.
And so I think the chief probably needs to come here and explain it. And you got 3 options, I think. One is you vote to sign it. Second is you vote not to sign it. Or the third is you table it, vote to table it. And then whatever, if you want to get him down here, then you can reach out and say, this doesn't make sense to us. And just say, can you come down here and explain it to us where it makes sense? And we're not saying completely no, but without some kind of further explanation, I don't think I'm going to be able to convince a majority of the fiscal court to go along with this. I mean, am I wrong about that?
I don't think you're wrong at all.
I think you're going to have a hard time explaining it, or I can support it.
I agree, Marty, for what it's worth.
Right.
But I'm not saying, I've learned over 30 years of practicing law, I'm not going to put words in somebody's mouth saying about trying to explain something just because I might have a lack of imagination. But
You'd have to have some with this.
but I'm just saying, I think if they wanted, I think the better practice would be for them to come down here and explain to us why.
I think the third option is probably the best. I think we need a motion to table this pending a visit from the District 3 engineer to give at least give his reasoning behind it and address the questions and the concerns we have.
As I said, I'm probably treading a little bit outside my lane, but I think it makes no sense to me what they're doing. I think y'all might at least.
I don't think it makes sense to our road supervisor either.
We have that situation in other places, there's areas that we go right by. This is
Middle of,
more than a mile.
yeah, it's middle of nowhere for our people. So, yeah.
And if it's in the middle of nowhere for our people, it's really in the middle of nowhere.
And like I say, the state's going to be right there.
Yeah.
It's not like they're going to.
On both sides.
Yeah.
Now, what's the difference in the houses that they want to put in the county road, difference than the other houses on the, it's
I'm
houses?
just telling you what they're asking for.
Well, I'll do the motion to table it until they can come.
All right, so we got a motion on the floor to table this discussion until we get an engineer from District 3 here to talk with us.
Second.
Got a second by Myron. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. All right, I'll let Mr. Plunk know. Next item, gentlemen, is a real unique one. I think this is the first time this has ever happened, not just in my 8 years as county judge, but 16 years of local politics. I don't think we have ever bid anything where we got no bidders. Well, we did get bidders. We got 3 no bids. I've never had any we didn't just have one send in, I'm sorry, we're not bidding. We had a second one send in, I'm sorry, we're not bidding, and a third one send in, I'm sorry, we're not bidding. This is.
But all in cahoots together and they all
I don't know.
decided all three?
I don't know, but at any rate, we submitted because, we used to do this process through CAECO where they had the salt thing.
The reverse
The
auction.
reverse auction and through CAECO, different counties that participated would get and CAECO made the determination that we could probably do better on our own.
I'm not so sure about that.
And they eliminated the reverse auction deal and said, okay, you need to bid out salt. So we decided that it would be best to get it bid out sooner rather than later so we could get prepared for winter. We had Morton, Cargill, and Compass Mineral all submit, appreciate the invitation, but we're not going to submit a bid.
Maybe you need to talk to, maybe you need to talk to.
Yeah, retain it, yeah, so I
future
guess,
purposes.
and I guess here's the question I have. I asked Bobby this because I've never experienced this, but really, Sam, this is a question for you because we as a governing body are required to either purchase, and this is another question, and I'll ask this later in my report down here because this is not this question here, but we're required to either purchase on state contract or bid. And the threshold for the bid has been moved up. If y'all recall, sometime back, we changed our administrative code to follow the language of the KRS so that if the legislature moved the threshold for the bid, we would automatically be at that. And I think they upped it again in this last legislative session. Because it went, it was only 30,000, then it went to 40, and I think it moved again to 50,000.
I think you're right.
I'd have to double check that.
And it used to be 20.
Yeah, it used to be 20. But at any rate, so we either have to follow the protocol for bids or purchase on state contract. But okay, so here's the thing. We can't go through winter with buying no salt. We have followed the proper protocol for advertising and soliciting bids. We received 3, we got your invitation, no thank yous, probably from the 3 bigger people that provide salt. But they did all say in their thank you, but we're not bidding, retain our information for future reference. I'm assuming after we've gone through the bid process and we're at a point that we need to buy something, are we able to purchase on an open market without?
Can we,
I'm guessing, this is all brand new to all of us, there's no state contract for road salt.
No, I don't think there is a state
We have an option, and I was waiting till we found this out. Supposedly, we can buy through the state's contract,
Okay.
but that we have to go through the district, like Joe Plump is the one that has to give me that information.
We probably get shot.
Well, might have been handy information to have before our last item.
Bobby's suppressing valuable information over there.
That's what you call ironic.
So, okay, so I guess with that being the case, at this point, this item is just is a moot point. I'm just letting y'all be aware that we received 3 no bids. We'll have to revert.
We're not gonna spend over that number, 40 or 50,000, whatever it is. We will not purchase over that amount wherever we buy it from.
Okay, then we're fine.
Well, I mean, what you do,
Unless it's a outrageous.
I think what you do is you explore, since the bids aren't working like you're hoping, I think by law you would have to explore the contract and see if you can make that work, and then if you don't, then we back up and punt. But I think you explored through the state contract because the bid didn't work out.
Okay. All right, so gentlemen, we don't really need action on that one. There's nothing to.
We're the only county that did, or other counties.
I don't know the answer to that, but I would make a guess that the other counties that have been participating in the reverse auction and had to bid it out probably got the same no bid response. That's my guess. Yeah. Yeah,
They're just not locking in.
They don't want to lock in the price, they want it to go up.
they don't want to give a July price when there's snow on the ground in January. All right, so we'll move along with that one. The next item, gentlemen, is an item that was budgeted into this next fiscal year budget. We just need a motion in a second to approve the purchase for the 2 sheriff's vehicles so we can get the PO to move forward with that. That would be 2 vehicles at a cost of $42,898 each.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Meyer and a second by Marty. Any question or discussion?
Now, then we got, this doesn't include the light package and all that, right, correct? I didn't see anything on here about this.
This vehicle purchase, does it include light packages? It's just the vehicles?
Just the vehicle.
Okay, that's what I assumed.
Well, then, will we go back and add, I mean, we need to add that to it now, or?
Light package we do separate, we have a line item.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'd have to check the price, but your light package to totally do a vehicle, when I first started, it was about $5,000. It's
Right.
running close to $13,000 now to the vehicle.
okay.
Yeah, it wasn't very many years ago. It was 7,000 to 8,000.
Right.
Yeah.
So the light package, we don't have to bid out. Separate company does that. We get the vehicle, we take it there.
Okay.
And,
I knew this was budgeted. I knew you had sheriff's vehicle budgeted. But I didn't know if we needed to approve the light package while we were
Yeah.
doing the vehicles, was
And
the
I
only
appreciate
thing.
you looking at
Because
that.
it's budgeted too,
It's
the lights.
budgeted, we're within, it actually works out just about right. Of course, when you're doing your budget, you're estimating, but we've got enough money in there to outfit them and the vehicles.
Okay,
It saves about $8,000 going with the Don Franklin bid, so that's a little.
right. Well, I'm fine with all of it. I just wanted to know if we needed to approve the light package today.
We've got that, that we don't have to, we've got it already, we've got it budgeted, and it doesn't have to be bid out.
And those are available right now?
Right,
Okay. Well, that's better than having to wait a year.
yes.
And then you'll probably bid out the 2 to replace them or whatever, or just auction them or do something with the ones you're,
We've got to evaluate what we've got coming on staff. What we always do, we go through each of our units, look at the vehicles they're driving, see if any of them need to be moved. And when I say that, when somebody gets out of the academy, they're a new officer, it's not a penalty. You're more likely to have a wreck your first year driving a vehicle as a police officer. It's just statistically, it is what it is. So usually coming out of the academy, we're not going to give you the nicest car we can. Looking at the fleet. Well, I mean.
Well, it's like you don't give your 16-year-old or 15-year-old the nicest
Yeah,
car.
you're not going to give them the keys to the Lexus if you got a Lexus sitting in your driveway, but.
although Keiko's insurance now, if it's within the first 6 or 8 months and it's totaled, they just cover it.
That's
So,
true. But,
That's not-
unfortunately, we did have one, I mean, that's actually happened. We had one that was only a few months old, we got totaled out, and they did replace it.
Right.
Keiko's insurance does a good job in doing it. So, when I say that, they all drive, and this is a big thing on insurance. One of the things you guys get sued for and I get sued for is when something happens, believe me, was the equipment appropriate? So when you heard me and y'all been really good about working with me back in the old days of going, you can't put somebody in a 120,000 mile vehicle that's old and yeah, it'll go to the call, but it might break down. But the big thing is if they're in a wreck, what's the liability going to be? Because they look at that every single time. So a good fleet ensures that you've taken care of the equipment. So, but we evaluate and then we decide if there's something we need to sell at some point.
okay.
All right, John, any other questions?
Got a motion on the floor.
Yeah, I think we got a motion and a second.
Yep.
Yeah. Any other questions? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, Jim.
Gentlemen, the next item is to approve the cash transfer from the federal grant fund to the general fund in the amount of $35,577.09.
So moved.
Got a motion by Scott, second by Jeffrey. Any question or discussion? Next would be our budget transfers. We just didn't.
Need to vote.
Oh, yeah, we got to vote. I thought we voted. Everybody said, everybody in favor, aye? Aye. I thought, I'm trying to rush us up. We've been here a minute. Any opposed? That motion carries. Next is the budget transfers. Gentlemen, we need a motion and a second to approve the budget transfers.
So move.
Got a
Second.
motion by Myron, a second by Marty. Any question, discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. And finally, here are the bills and claims. We need a motion and a second to approve the bills and claims as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Scott,
Say,
second by Jeffrey. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Moving on to reports, I will start with a question that Scott asked me about, and then I'll let him address it some too, as he's the Parks Board member. Y'all recall sometime back, we talked about the curve down on Blackjack Road by Drake Street, where the house had flooded out, and FEMA has designated it as a non-buildable lot. They can't build there, and we talked about, would it be something the park could use for either a put-in, pull-out kayaking, canoeing, whatever that people are doing, and possibly even maybe a dock to fish off of or whatever. And I think Lisa has looked at it. She's called me. I know her and Scott have talked. I think the park is interested in it, and I think the lady that owns the property, which Bob, I think she actually lives in Nashville now, doesn't she? She wants to get rid of it. And we talked about the court having would we be willing to purchase it if the park could utilize it? It'd be basically, we just would buy it, then turn it over to the park to do what they need to do with it. And so we're at the place, I think, am I right, Scott? The park,
They are.
You speak to that.
Well, she has brought it up in front of the board, and the board, we thought we could use that, as they still do a lot of kayaking.
Tons
It's
of it.
another access point too, I guess, for if you have to rescue, you could access there. Well, the Parks Board is all for it,
Yeah.
if we can.
And I think in talking with Lisa, really the only thing that needs to be done there's a concrete pad that I guess would need to be pulled out and then just gravelled in. But it's, the good thing about it would be an area to put in and come out where you've got off-road parking, where people aren't lined up along the roadway.
Yeah.
How big a lot is that? Is it a half acre?
Is it eight tenths?
Yeah. 7, 8 tenths.
7 or 8 tenths of an acre.
Would have to build some kind of ramp to get down to that. I mean, it's a pretty good way off the creek down
They're
to
talking
that.
about building like some kind of, dock area to get down to it from there.
why do they want to pull the concrete up? Won't they just leave the concrete where it's at?
Because that makes it that much higher.
Yeah.
It almost had to go in and go with some steps, do
Yeah.
like a
Yeah, well,
zigzag.
That would,
There
almost
was
like the
some-
parking would be where the
She had
concrete
some
was.
drawings of, you can do it, I guess, a less expensive route, but you got to worry about the flooding and it washing away.
Yeah.
So, you would have to put something there that could withstand that, but
I guess if we want to pursue it, gentlemen, I would think we probably need a motion and a second to enter into the negotiations with the property owner and get an appraisal on the property. Because, even if we do purchase it to turn it over to the park, we don't have to pay appraisal price, but we cannot pay more than appraisal price. And when we talked about this earlier in the kind of the preliminary discussion we had with the owner, we kind of felt like that about $20,000 is about all that piece of property's worth. I mean, if it was an 7 8/10 of an acre buildable, that's completely different. Now you got a 40, 60, whatever thousand. This is completely unbuildable, unusable really for anything except fishing or putting a boat in.
I'm not too sure it'll price for 20.
It may not. But that's the whole deal, and the owner needs to realize that we can't pay one penny more than the appraisal, but that doesn't mean we would pay the appraisal, but we have to pay for the appraisal.
So you need a motion to authorize an appraisal, or to get an appraisal on the property?
Yeah,
And enter a negotiation with the owner.
So much.
yeah. So we got a motion by Marty.
Second.
Had Scott, heard
That's
Scott
fine.
first. Got a second by Scott. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Real quick, I'll give you a rock quarry update. You recall our discussion from the last meeting. I just got a phone call 10 minutes before our meeting today. They want to have a meeting, they being the quarry, are wanting to have a meeting with me, the folks from the State Department of Mining, and the owners of the quarry. What I'm being told at the moment is that, and I made it very clear to them that the fiscal court would not be making this decision. If they make any changes there, it'll first have to go through planning and zoning, and then the Board of Adjustments. It's not coming to the fiscal court. But what he told me today was the current permit that they have with the State Department of Mining, they are willing to amend their current permit and clearly state that they will not blast any closer to the creek than they already are. So, I mean, that's while I'm still not happy about the quarry,
Plus.
that makes me feel a little better knowing that they would be willing to amend that permit and say we're not getting any closer. So I'll keep you posted on how that conversation goes, but they all are going to understand very clearly that it's not going to be a decision. It's what they may change with the footprint of their 90 whatever acres is first going to have to start with planning and zoning, and that doesn't come to us.
Exactly.
So just wanted to give you all that bit of an update. Next is, I want to make sure that I understand something, and Sam, I don't mean to put you on the spot, and maybe I should do a little more research, but I've had quite a bit on my mind for the last several weeks, things outside of the courthouse that are occupying my time and mind.
Understood.
But we've always been able to purchase on state contract or under the bid threshold without advertising for bid. And I don't think, and I'm putting Nicole on the spot too, you're saying that the state auditor is saying that even if we're purchasing on state contract now, we still have to bid something?
Well, and it's part of the master agreement, so is the master agreement, was it on the portal as well, or you should have that on there?
No, I don't know.
It details it in that master agreement that they have to provide 3 quotes. And-
Even if we're purchasing on state contract?
Yes, because I guess, but they want you to get the 3 quotes on state contract.
So when does this take effect?
I don't know. I'd never heard of this until the auditor wrote.
It was like maybe a couple of years ago.
I never heard a word
So-
about it because we
I'm
were,
not aware of it either.
What about the sheriff's vehicles we just did?
And that's why I got quotes. The state contract does have some deviances in it now. That used to not. Everybody had to give you the same price. There is a guaranteed price, I guess. I'm really not sure how it works, other than if you look back at what was on your thing, the 3 different dealers had different prices for that car. Don Franklin was $8,000 lower. Now, what you didn't see, or you probably saw it, is this is a 2026 vehicle we're getting. The other 2 had 27s because they didn't have any 26s on the lot. But I did get a 27 bid too. I got one of those that I had from Don Franklin, and it was still $1,000 difference. So there is a difference between and there's only so many people that have the state bid. So those are the 3 dealerships that have the state, that have been approved by the state, but their prices are different. I don't understand why, but they are.
And it says it in, the master agreement is on your portal. It says in the, if, under the vendor information, that commodity and service information, under extended description, it will be the responsibility of the agencies utilizing this master agreement to obtain quotes from a minimum of 3 awarded dealers.
So we're really talking just car purchases?
Yes,
Because
just
there are other things that are on state contract.
Right, it's just vehicles.
Well, we've done good today. We got 3 cars and we got 3 0 bids for salt.
Yeah,
So we got 3 bids on each one of them.
yeah.
Oh, did,
But we received, whenever this change come about, we didn't receive any notification.
I mean, it's just because we had a state audit this last time, and, I mean, because we go to those budget workshops.
They didn't mention it there?
You know,
Nothing's
so-
been
But
said
that's what
about it.
happens in a lot of audits, you know, whatever their standards are and whatever they're auditing.
I think there's times they change some of this stuff, so when they come to do an audit, they can just say, oh, you didn't do this. Well, we would have done it had you let us know we had to do it.
That's like some of the audits I've watched at the county, they tell them, stay until you find something wrong.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess that's the answer to that, that's the answer to that question.
But stay until you find something wrong.
The only other item, gentlemen, just as a reminder, this Thursday at 9 a.m. at the Simpson County Circuit Courtroom will be the
Oral argument.
oral arguments on the case where Ten Key has sued the Simpson County Fiscal Court. So that's at 9 o'clock this Thursday.
And the harvest dinner is Friday.
The harvest dinner is Friday.
7 o'clock.
The 7th at 7 o'clock?
at the barn at the,
Yeah.
it starts, you can get there at 6, but for the hors d'oeuvres and everything.
And I think
but-
some of y'all have gotten tickets or able to get in, but if not, we've got 4 passes to get people in. All right. Marty, you have anything?
I haven't been out to the Public Works. How's the new bill? I mean, how's it coming?
The only thing that I know is not done is the gas line's not hooked up.
Okay, all right. And then I'll stop out there one day and look at that, just to see it. The other, I talked to Mason about this before the meeting, but Sam, have you did any checking on the, I think they call it a safety ordinance now instead of a panhandling ordinance, but about people in the state, where the state had passed that?
You remember we discussed a while back about the state law has now said that it's illegal to stand in state right-of-ways or block pedestrian walkways, and we talked about the possibility of doing an ordinance for county right-of-ways and county walkways.
Actually, I think I got some notes on that because that was a meeting I was out
That's
of
right.
town. I looked, and basically what I saw, if I remember, I'm going from memory, is that they can't be on the road, or like they can be on the right of way, for example, but they can't be on the road.
I thought the state law prevented them from even being in the state right-of-way.
But I don't think you can, I have some doubts as to that. But I'm just saying, I think, I'll look, because I said I'm working from memory.
Because I think they passed it as a public safety measure, saying that you don't need to be standing in a state right-of-way or impeding the safety of a pedestrian walkway.
Right, but I mean, most of the pedestrian walkways are going to be in the city, not in the county. So I'll look again.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie. I've slept since I've looked at it.
And I have a question, Sheriff, on that regard. So what happens with, these folks that are standing out on the state roads or whatever? Are they able to be cited at this time if someone calls and complains like this guy's out here and he's going?
I don't know anywhere that it's happened. It's a very controversial issue. If somebody's on the roadway, we always move them off. We don't do it in the city. I don't want anybody to confuse. The city has 25 officers that do a good job. You can send conflicting information. I don't know what the city officers are telling people in the city, and it's not my place to do that. So We don't want to, your average citizen doesn't need to be getting 2 or 3 different stories from different people. See what I'm saying? Anything that's out in the county, if somebody's on the roadway, we'll get them off the roadway. It's really not because they're taking up money, it's a danger to be on the road. This new law, I don't know much about it yet because it's kind of untested. County attorney, when he gets done looking at it, will give us better advice.
Well, we had one a while back. State police cited a guy who was on the interstate. He had been moved previously because you're not supposed to, there's signs saying you're not supposed to walk alongside the interstate. And he came back the same day later, and so he got arrested and charged, but that's the interstate, which is completely different.
That's federal highway.
Yeah, there's clear law, pedestrians can't be out there. Now, people will break down, you gotta use common sense on enforcement.
But yeah, if someone's broken down or they're trying to walk to get some gas or something, I'm talking about people who are just walking down, that's their mode of travel.
That's why on Bowling Green, if you've noticed at exit 22, a lot of times when you're getting off, there'll be people standing there. They're not actually on the interstate, they're on the ramp. And that's why they're on the ramp. It's easier access to people, but they've been told by police if you get out on the interstate,
You're going to jail.
yeah.
Well, I was just asking because it seems like the head count or the number of people that are doing it on the square is increasing.
Well, once again, I'll take another look.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I had other stuff that seemed to be more pressing and that I'm not gonna lie.
I understand.
Well, I mean, other things,
Well, you never know. till you ask.
ordinances and stuff, and I'll take another look, and that one kinda got pushed down to the bottom of the stack, I'm not
Okay.
gonna lie.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you. I have
No report done. Scott?
Just one thing, and I know I brought this up before, but we have a ton of semi-truck traffic on Broadway. I mean, a bunch. I reached out to Libon earlier, and they actually put a sign up that said, just take a left turn. Don't go through the residential area. I'm going to reach back out to Hood to see if I can get them to do that. And I guess I'm looking for some guidance and see if anybody knows how. From exit 6, I did this one day. I got off exit 6 and just punched in Hood. How to get there. And it brings them right through.
Comes up Blackjack Road to
Right,
Broadway?
yeah.
You punched in one.
Huh.
Is that the old
Oh,
Southern
I-
Containers building?
Hood
Yeah.
Industry. Yeah.
I can tell you why they won't go out the other way. I'll tell you why they won't go out 31W. Because if you try to go out 31W in a semi
I've
off
lived
of
there
Broadway,
for 40
it's
years. I know.
next to impossible.
But with school starting back and the kids,
Yeah.
it just really, to me, it's a safety thing, and I just don't know what.
Well, it's kind of like the GPS sending them in Gold City Road to Purdue Farms
Yeah.
Road, and we got signs up and everything. They run
Is
over
there
the
a way
signs.
We've had people come to court over the years, and it's like, well, my GPS said, well, the GPS isn't the law. It's not God Almighty, and it's not the law. So,
No, anyway, I just don't know what. I don't know what you can do.
Yeah.
Because, if it sends them that way, and if you put signs up there saying, but where are you going to turn around?
Oh, yeah, if
Yeah,
you're
I
on
mean,
Blackjack
you're
Road headed to Broadway
got
and you
to
got a
go.
sign up there
Yeah.
that says no commercial truck traffic, where are they gonna go?
Yeah. So I don't know.
It took a long time before they got probably 90% of the truck traffic off of 100 going from the interstate to Scottsville. They tell them to go up to exit 20, and it is a lot better road. I mean, it's 4-lane all the way to Scottsville that way, but
Right.
it takes the drivers a while to figure out the best way to get into a place.
If anybody's got any
I don't-
solution, I'm all in.
Widen Broadway to 4 lanes.
Well, I doubt that's gonna happen, but But anyway, other than that, that's all I got.
No,
Counselor?
No report.
Sheriff?
No report, sir.
Jailer?
I'd like to address the court, maybe we come up with a solution. About a month ago, we bought a vehicle, out of the commissary, we talked about it on the phone. Bought it out of the commissary just for purposes of, getting the vehicle, because there were some people lined up to take it immediately. Anyway, we went ahead and purchased it, and, we actually purchased two. One for the commissary, and at the time, we had the IT grant that came in, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it was like $20,000 or $25,000 bought a unit for the county building, which is the jail. And what I'm asking is, and Nicole and I talked about this briefly too. She put the brakes on me over the auditor. Okay, the auditor said you can't do, let me back up. What I wanted to do, to ask the court to reimburse the commissary for the vehicle that we bought, so we can utilize it for anything versus just commissary use. Nicole talked to the auditor put the brakes on, said, we can't do that. I called the auditor and explained, he was under the impression that we had bought it from like a used car dealership or something like that. He said, you can't do that. Fair enough. I explained to him we bought it from Warren County Detention Center. And he said, well, let me do some checking on that. That's different. So he did. He sent me KRS immediately. He said, yes, you can do that. For the court to reimburse the commissary. What I mean, it's a 50,000-mile vehicle. It is already caged, outfitted, lighted. Jerry, he said $13,000 right there. And we gave him 24,75 for it. So what I'm asking is if we can find a way for the court to reimburse the commissary so we can utilize it for anything versus just commissary use, I would greatly appreciate it.
What are you using it for now?
It's sitting over there. We use it we bought two, Marty. We bought a Durango. We bought, it was a 19, it has 30-something thousand miles on it, completely outfitted. I'm going to back up to what the sheriff said again, $13,000. We gave $15,000 for the vehicle, it's got 30,000 miles on it. And it's completely outfitted.
I understand that, but my question is, you bought two, correct?
Yes, sir.
Both out of commissary?
Yes.
So what were your intentions of, how was you going to use it for commissary when you bought two of them? I mean, that's what I'm asking.
Okay, so one of them we're going to use strictly for commissary use as far as...
Which is, I mean, give me an example of what that would be.
Dentist runs, job drop-offs, stuff like that.
Okay.
Because you're limited.
Right.
On transport. The other one, I want to be able to utilize it for whatever we need. Instead of being limited to, And of course, I'll go back to the IT grant. There was money there that we could have moved over and took care of this. But we utilized it in other necessity areas. And that IT grant is usually for the jail staff, jail needs without asking the court. Y'all have done that.
Can you use that, that van for transport to the Justice Center? I know the sheriff uses a van
It's ours.
or whatever, so why couldn't the one he's outfitted or made better or whatever, can't you?
I don't know what thing you're talking about.
I thought the sheriff had a van that he used for transport,
sheriff.
and then
We got, it belongs to the jail. Back before I got sheriff, there was some talk about who we're supposed to take people to jail. Eric was good enough to get one of their older vans. And it doesn't have to be,
new because we're not going very
So
far.
can you get rid of that van, just use that van? Or, huh?
They didn't buy me.
Okay.
So,
We got two vans that's got over 150,000 miles on them. I'm just giving y'all that, our transport.
The vehicles you bought were like
Both of them Durangos, they weren't
Suburban
vans.
or
Oh.
Tahoe and a
I thought you had
Durango.
a van and a Durango.
so you're gonna have to give me a minute here. And you're gonna have to not get perturbed and upset about what I'm about to say, because this is just,
I'm not perturbed.
this is just a reality, this is just a reality of budgeting and financing.
Yes.
You're right, you called and you talked to me about this purchase, and you said, should I do it? And I said, Eric, I can't tell you what to do, because I can tell you we didn't budget for it,
Correct.
and I can't guarantee you that the fiscal court will reimburse anything.
That's fine.
And that's what I told you, correct?
That's right.
Also, you bring up the IT money. We had a situation with that money coming in.
Correct.
You had a unit go down, and the problem that we have, the issue that we have, is that we have accounting practices and measures that we have to abide by state regulation. We can't just arbitrarily move this money from here to here and things have to have a certain process and a step and a way to do it, and money has to be there for something to be purchased or bought. We can't just pull something out of thin air and say, oh, we've expended all of our money, but now we're going to do this anyway. No, there's a process for that.
That's why.
When the unit, I said, give me a minute. When the unit was having trouble, and we needed to fix it, there was no doubt the unit needed to be fixed. The only way that we could write a PO that day, the only line item in the entire budget for the jail that we had the money to write a PO on was that money there. So it was 20-some whatever $1,000. We go through the end of fiscal year 25-26 with the jail in and I don't know the number, Nicole, a deficit of whatever. I mean, and when I say a deficit, I mean that we budgeted X amount of dollars as appropriations to help fund the operation of the jail, and we went X amount of dollars beyond that. So you take the IT grant and everything, there was no excess money at the jail. We keep talking about this IT grant like there's just this 35,000 whatever dollars hanging around it. It's not out there.
That's all fine and good. I mean, I don't know what.
Now the question is whether or not the fiscal court wants to put, we've set aside X amount of dollars to fund the jail out of the general fund for fiscal year 26-27. So the question to the court really is, do you want to put, how much was the vehicle?
1,475.
Okay, so the question to the fiscal court really is, do you want to increase that funding an additional $24,000 or $25,000 to make the purchase of this vehicle? That's the question. It's not a question about IT money or what, because that is a completely moot point. There is no IT money. Every single dollar and then some was expended out of the 25-26 jail budget.
Would that be, hang on, this is an argument, will that money be reimbursed back into my budget because it is a county building and y'all need that catastrophic fund, I think is what you call it, was to take care of building maintenance?
At the point that come, there was not any line item
Okay.
to do that out of other than that money.
That's all I was asking.
And the money that had to go in over and above what was budgeted was $152,500 in 25.
Is that because of our checking coming in?
Yeah, part of it.
I figured that.
And here again, I'm not fussing or arguing with
That's all
anyone.
right.
It's just a money issue, and so it's up to the fiscal court if we want to push the other roughly $25,000. Gentlemen, any thoughts or any comments or?
Eric, can you sell that vehicle?
Huh?
Can you sell that vehicle?
I mean, the county can.
No, we can't sell the commissary vehicle.
No, can you sell that vehicle?
It goes on our
Yeah, but his question is, could you sell that vehicle?
I can't sell it, never. Belongs to the commissary. We can put it on the auction, we can put it on the auction like y'all do.
Would that be a cleaner way?
Huh?
If he wanted to put the money back in the commissary, he could sell that vehicle and put the money.
It ain't about, it's not about the money, it's about the utilization and all that crap. All the stipulations we have. It ain't about the money. Y'all still gonna get yours. I do have one vehicle, or actually I got two vehicles to sell. One of them is a commissary vehicle, and then I've got another one that is on the general, or belongs to the county, that's gonna be sold. It's that white F-250.
Well, I do think it is, number one, it is about being responsible for our money.
Yeah.
And secondly, it is about what is the actual genuine need for the jail. And that's the part I'm trying to figure out. What is the actual genuine need for the jail to utilize this vehicle?
For transports, whatever we need it for.
And we don't have a vehicle now we're currently using to do that.
We got a couple of them, yeah. We got,
And so we need a third one. I'm just asking.
yes. Answer yes.
And that's the transport from jail to jail, correct? Or does the sheriff do that?
We do transports, they do transports. They're responsible for the states, the courts, and we're responsible for everything else.
I think the county's, that's right.
That's it.
Jail to jail, if there's got somebody coming in, or he's got to transfer somebody, they take care of those transports. If there's a court order for them to be in court, or they've got a sentence down here, you got a warrant on you and you're in Atlanta, Georgia, and they arrest you.
That's
When
sure.
you get done down there and you've been entered, we gotta go to Atlanta and pick you up.
Okay.
That's ours.
Ours are in the state.
Okay.
Now, me and the county clerk have to sign all those orders to send the sheriff to pick up these, people that have,
We did one just about a week or so ago.
Ours are more for bringing in state inmates to the facility.
Well, if the money is already there and you said you wouldn't about the money, you said the auditor said it could be transferred. To use the auditor is saying that the money could, this somehow or another could work.
That the court could buy it from the commissary.
I'm trying to figure out how we could do it without even doing any money. If it's just needing the vehicle. I don't know.
I don't know the answer to that. Because you can't purchase the vehicle out of the commissary funds and then donate the car to the county, is what you're saying.
If it was that easy, we'd already done it.
Yeah. And every year since I've been the judge, months prior to budget prep, I have department head meetings where we talk about capital expenditures. And I notify everyone we're having them, and no one from the jail showed up. We had no idea. My assumption was, if you don't show up, you don't have anything that is needed in the capital expenditure line.
I will say this, I'm gonna disagree with you, because we sit right in there and I've told about the capital expenditures or,
Well, I have 1, 2, 3 department heads that are in here right now that will.
so I never said any,
You were not at that meeting.
okay. I know I mentioned units going down, units having to be replaced, that's a capital expenditure to you. maybe I didn't say anything about a vehicle, because usually if I put a vehicle in my budget, it gets denied regardless. Because we buy them out of the IT grants.
So I go back to, gentlemen, this is, as the old saying goes, this ball is in y'all's court. This would be, if you want this vehicle, does the county want to purchase this vehicle from the jail commissary for the jail to use for transports?
I don't have an opinion at this point. I need to think this out. This was, I knew about the vehicle, but it appears maybe the simplest thing to be done is if the vehicle could be sold. How the vehicle, as far as what you get for what is the vehicle worth?
Probably about 35.
But that still won't solve his problem. Because he's trying to figure out, he's wanting a vehicle for transport. And he can't transport. If he buys it, if he sells it and puts the money back in the commissary, he still doesn't have a vehicle for transport that he's asking for. Correct?
But you said you was gonna sell a couple other vehicles, right?
Correct. We got the white F-250, and we've got that Journey. Now the Journey was bought out of the commissary, so it'll go back in there. The F-250 is not. It could go towards this other vehicle, whatever, I don't care.
So what are you using the F-250 for currently?
It's sitting over in the lot as a parking lot on.
So what are you using to transport inmates currently?
We use some of our trucks. You know, we got 2 trucks that we utilize. We got the transport vans for the big hauls, and they got a lot of miles on them. And I really haven't said anything about this, but the sheriff just said, first thing, if we have an accident, he's 100% correct. What kind of condition are your vehicles in? And they've got 150 and 180,000 miles on them. Now you brought that up.
Well,
We utilize those for the big loads because they've got that indoor, it's like a jail cell on wheels.
you say you bought the vehicle out of commissary, and commissary is to do transport.
Commissary what?
It's used for inmate benefit. Is transporting inmates not a benefit to the inmates?
To the dentist office, you know, to the job sites, stuff like that, yes.
But moving from one jail to the next jail.
Huh?
But you can't use them to move them from one jail to the next jail.
Not supposed to.
Why don't you check on that and we'll revisit these?
That's fine. That's
There's
fine.
bound to be a dentist office between every jail.
But you said you can't sell it. You said
Yes,
you can't.
I can sell it, but we're going to put it on auction. Just like we do everything else. Whatever it brings us.
Just say.
Marty, I know what you just did, but anyway.
Urgent care,
I understand.
something.
Well, why don't you double check that? And then
I'll go double check that.
then we'll revisit.
It'll be fine.
Okay. Paul, anything with maintenance? Chief, anything with fire department? Yes, sir. Bob, anything with emergency management?
I'm not gonna come up there, but school starts next week, so everybody keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah. So I don't know if y'all picked that up, but Bob was saying just be careful next week as we start transporting kids back and forth to school. Is it next Wednesday, isn't it?
Yes,
Wednesday, 12.
Yeah. And I do want to say again, thank you for getting us in storm-ready status.
How long did that take? Just out of curiosity.
We've been not working on it, but little things that we've done over the years all came together. Mickey sat down and went through the application, and like about 3 weeks of putting everything in the application took care of it.
So it took 3 weeks.
basically, it was taking 5 or 6 years of little.
That's what I was getting. I was figuring 3 or 4 years to get
Correct.
all the stuff in line where you could do that. Okay.
Correct.
That's about how long it's gonna take to get storm shelter built.
When the government shut down, FEMA didn't get the memo that they opened back up.
I actually see some movement on that last week.
Okay, good. Bobby, anything with the road department?
I don't know if you informed them that our flex roads were cut by 40,000.
No, I forgot to mention that one. We did get our number on the Flex Road Fund, from the state, and it was cut about $40,000.
Well, they don't have any money.
Yeah, well, here again, you know, and you weren't at the time, but the rest of these guys were here. I've been saying for several years that if we're gonna continue providing the same level of repair and work and so on and so forth to county roads, at some point, we're gonna have to stick some money out of the general fund in there because the state funding is just gradually going away. And so,
Then we gotta go.
because this whole, and I laugh at this all the time because this is campaign cycle rhetoric, you know, you gotta figure out how to do more with less. No, I don't care what you're doing, if you spend less money, you're doing less work, because the work that we're doing has continually gone up. I mean, the sheriff is absolutely right. It might have been 5,000 when he started before I did. When I started as judge, those light packages were around $7,000. Now you're telling me they're 13,000. When I started as county judge, we were buying new law enforcement vehicles for $28,000. Now they're $42,000. You're not going to do more with less money. It's not going to happen. You can say we're not going to buy them. We could have a depleted fleet. We could have law enforcement officers running around in dilapidated vehicles. We could have the fire department not with the necessities they need. We could tell the road guys to go out there with some hot patch and just patch a few things and leave the roads alone, and we don't repave roads. It costs money to maintain, period.
Absolutely.
But I'll get off my soapbox and ask for a motion to adjourn.
What are we doing, executive session?
No, that was just on there from last, unless you need to. I'm sorry, it was just on there from our last one. We didn't remove it. I have no need for that executive.
I'll make that motion.
Yeah, Scott's got a motion to adjourn. I got a second by Marty. I didn't know if I was gonna get a second. I thought y'all wanted to stay all day. Marty seconded. All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed?
All right.